Hi there and welcome to the second of the Kaplan recordings in partnership with Young Enterprise Scotland. Now that we've started to run our company, we need to have a think about how we record the transactions for our business to ensure that we start to record the correct information that's going to go into our final reports. Today we're going to have a look at how we record our sales and purchases, as these are likely to be some of the first transactions that we're going to have to deal with. We're going to have a think about recording the sales and purchases and also making sure we record the correct payment method. For example, a cash sale or a sale that's on credit terms. We'll also need to have a little think about how we record the VAT or the tax on our sales and purchases, as we'll need to detail this out later for our VAT return. So you should now have access to your Yes portal with your company information. So let's have a look at that now and start to see about how we record our sales. Okay, so hopefully your company information will look a little bit like something we've got on screen here. What we're going to have to do is go into our account section. So if you navigate up to the top to where it says company information, and if you click on there, that will take us into our company accounts option, which should look something a little like this. So you'll see at the top here, just where it says reports, we've then got a couple of options. So today we're going to look at our sales and purchases. So we're going to look at our receipts, payments, our debtors and our creditors. So let's start by looking at receipts first. So as you'll see at the minute, I've not made any sales, so what I'm going to have a look at is our first record of our cash sales. When we make a sale for cash, we'll charge the customer the cost of our sale, plus we're going to need to add on the VAT that we're going to need to pay over to the tax authorities. So we need to do a couple of things here. Firstly, we need to record the cash that we've received, and then we need to account for the other side of the transaction, which is our sales and our VAT. So let's say that my business was selling a table and the selling price was £100 plus VAT, and my VAT is 20% on that sale. So in total, we're going to receive £120. So this means we're going to need to record the cash of £120 being received. So let's have a look at this first. So I'm going to go to the actions just to the right hand side, and I'm going to click on add. That's then going to give me today's date, and I'm going to record where the table sale is coming from. So I've got a table sale, and let's just say it is Mr. Jones. I can then give it any reference I want. So as it's my first sale, let's just say it is sale number 001. And now I'm going to record my cash that Mr. Jones has given me of £120. So I've received cash of £120. So that's the debit transaction, which is what the DR means just above. I then need to think about the credit side of the transaction. So this time I'm going to have to record the sale, but remember that this time the sale is only for £100. So you see there when I clicked on sales, it tells me at the bottom of the screen that I've got an error because my debits and my credits must balance off. So I'm going to record the sale of £100, and then I'm going to have to add on the £20, which is for my VAT. So when I click on that and then I click Save Changes, you will see now that my table sale has now been recorded from Mr. Jones, and I've recorded the cash of £120, and I've split that money between the money I'm going to have to pay for VAT on the sale and the sale value itself. So let's just run through another sale just as a transaction practice. So if I add in another sale, again today, and this time I've sold a chair, and this time I've sold it to Miss Peters. So as it's my second sale, I can reference it 002. And this time, she's bought quite an expensive chair. She's bought a chair which is £200 plus VAT. So again, £200 plus 20% VAT. I'm going to receive cash of £240. So I can pop that in there. The chair, the sale value for us is £200. And the VAT value this time is £40. So now I've balanced off the debits and credits. I've got no error signs. I can just click Save Changes. And there we have it. Both our sales are recorded, and you'll see that the system automatically totals the bottoms figures, and I've got total sales of £300. I've got VAT that we'll look at later that I need to pay over of £60, and the cash that I have is £360 in total. So that's us dealt with a couple of cash sales, but let's think now what's going to happen if we make a sale and we record it but the customer is paying later on. As we don't have cash, we can't record it as cash, so what I need to do is record the debt that's owed to me. So I need to go to the debtors column now. So this time, just like before, I'm going to record a sale, but this time the sale has been made on credit. So that means the person is going to pay us later on. This means that they owe a debt to us, so the name for that is a debtor. So let's just say, for example, I've got Mr. Leask and he doesn't have any money, so we need to collect it from him later on. But we do trust him, so we're going to sell the goods to him anyway. So in terms of the reference, well, this is my third sale, so let's just call it 003. So this time, we're going to record our sale, and this time, Mr. Leask has bought a sofa from us, and the amount that he's going to pay is £500 plus VAT. So again, we're going to record the sale of £500. We're going to have to add on the VAT of 20%. So this time, that's £100. And the total that he's going to be due to pay is £600 there. So you'll see now the error sign is away again, and that's me recorded that money as being owed. Okay, so you'll see now that I've posted that, it shows as unpaid. Okay, so when the payment is received, so say he pays me a couple of days later, just after the weekend, I can put the date in there. So say he paid me on Monday, he paid me on the 18th of April, and this time he's paid me the full amount, and I just record that he's given me the cash, and that means when I click save, as you can see, it's now changed and recorded as paid. And what will happen here now, if I click to my receipts column, I'll now see that Mr. Leask here has recorded the cash sale of £500 plus VAT. That's us recorded the sale. So we just need to make sure that if someone's not paying us till later, it goes in to the debtors column. If someone pays us up front and we get the cash right away, then we can just record the receipts there. Just remember, we always need to make sure that people pay us though. So if you are recording debtors, don't leave them too long. Make sure that the people give you money if you've given them any of your products, okay? So it might be worthwhile for your finance director just to keep an eye on this every few days, just to make sure that any money that's due is paid as soon as possible. So now that's us dealt with the sales, let's have a think about the other side. So let's think about how we can record the payments that we have to make. So for this, we'll need to go to our payments option. Okay, so just like our receipts, where sometimes we received money and sometimes we made the sales on credit and we received the money later, with our payments, it's just going to be the opposite way around. So this time, we're either going to have to pay out cash, in which case we record the payment right away, or we have to record a creditor. So this is where we need to credit the cash later on. We owe someone money. So let's have a look if I was to make a payment. So just like before, we go to the payment section this time, but we now click to add, and it will come up again with today's date. So where am I going to pay my money to? Well, let's just say I decide to pay some money to my supplier, Mr. Bruce. So that's who I bought my supplies from. So this time, from Mr. Bruce, I've purchased some stationery. So I need to record the stationery. And let's just say my stationery came to £50. So I'm going to record the stationery of £50, but I need to remember it's going to be £50 plus VAT. So I need to record the additional amount for the VAT, and as we'll find out later, I'll be able to claim this back. So the VAT of 20% here would be £10, and that means that I'm going to have to pay over to Mr. Bruce the £60. But as I said earlier, we'll be able to claim back the VAT, which we'll look at later on. So now I've got my debits and my credits, and they both equal the same amount. If I click Save Changes, that's me now recorded my stationery purchase. So let's have a look at another one. So this time, let's say that I have to pay for my production staff for the wages. Okay, so let's say my only member of production here is Mrs. Malloy, and for her production for the week, I have paid her £100. Now, because this relates to wages and it doesn't relate to a purchase, we don't need to charge VAT because wages don't have any invoices. So this time, we record the production wages of £100, and the cash that I'm going to pay over is £100 as well. So both sides again are the same, and if I click Save Changes, that's me there. So let's just do one more. This time I'm going to make some purchases of material. So this time I'm going to purchase material from my material supplier, which is MITS Limited. So I've recorded the company. This time my purchase is going to be for £400, and because I'll be getting an invoice or a receipt for this, it's £400 plus 20% VAT. So I'm going to record my purchase of £400, and then I'm going to record my VAT, which works out at £80. So the amount of cash I'm going to pay is £480. But like before, I'll be able to claim back my VAT. So if I save my changes there, that's me recorded my purchase. So hopefully that shows you some of the transactions, and that's going to be helpful for you later. However, we need to have a think about if we make a purchase where we don't pay for it till later. So let's go to our creditor screen now. So this time, under a creditors screen, I'm going to make a purchase from Mr. Mitts again at Mitts Limited. However, this time I'm going to pay for it later on. So again, I'm going to record the company name of Mitts Limited. I've got today's date that the transaction is going to happen. and this time I'm going to purchase goods for £700 plus VAT of 20%. So the VAT on this purchase this time is going to be £140. So in total I'll be due to pay MITS Limited £840 in total. So once I've recorded the debits and the credits, I've recorded the date and I've recorded who I'm due to pay the money to, I can now click save. Remember, I've not paid it yet. Okay, so we've posted that and it shows as unpaid. Now what I'm going to do is, let's say it was a week later and I've now going to pay this creditor. So I contacted MITS Limited and I've decided the following Friday I'm going to pay that money. So when I pay it, I should record the date paid and I record that I'm going to pay it by cash. Then once I've done that, I'll click Save Changes and you'll see it now records as paid. And because I've paid it, it automatically goes in here under my payment screen that I've made another sale here, the very bottom one, £700 plus VAT for my purchases, so I've now paid over that cash. So because it's recorded there, it's recorded as paid, so I no longer have any creditors. Okay, so that's us now dealt with all the transactions, and we've today been able to now record sales for cash and record sales for credit. We've also dealt with recording purchases for cash and recording purchases for credit. And we've also worked out when we actually pay our creditors or when our debtors pay us, how we complete the transaction so that the sale records for the cash amount. So just as a quick recap, just to remember the key transactions for your sales and purchases. For our cash sales and for our credit sales, we always debit either our cash or our debtors, and then we're always crediting the sales amount and remembering to credit the VAT for the tax amount. On the other side, if we make any purchases, our purchases are always going to be a debit. We're going to also have to record the VAT on that purchase as a debit, and the credit side this time, we're going to either record the cash sale or we're going to record the creditor, which we will then pay later on. So we've dealt with recording our sales and purchases. Next one we're going to deal with is dealing with our VAT and other tax in the next recording. Following on from that, we're going to look at our banking and handling cash safely, dealing with our stock and collating all our information above into your final report. So hopefully that's been helpful for you. Like I said before in the last recording, please feel free to contact me if you have any questions. My email and my telephone number are on screen there, and I will speak to you in the next recording.